morning and welcome to Book Club Corner. It's a beautiful Wednesday in Scarborough, Tobago, and wherever you may be viewing from, we're so happy that you joined us here today. Every Wednesday, we're here chatting with authors, publishing industry stakeholders, and we have an amazing author. You know, all my authors are amazing, right? We have another amazing author with us today, and her name is Shinniese Sylvan. And Shinniese Sylvan is the author of Mummy Dear, To Gabrielle with Love, Dear Elspeth, and Dear Self. Her pen name is L'teralle Shinn. I hope I said that correctly.
L'teralle Shinn.
And she's also a writer because she writes articles as well. Thank you for being here with us and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's lovely to have you here. I love this, very Christmassy. So you're bringing it today.
Yes.
All right, then.
Try our best to look the parts.
And listen, we have Carnival coming up, right? And then we have Blue Food on Sunday. Carnival coming up, Blue Food on Sunday. It's Caribbean Folklore Month. It's Cyber Security Month. Lots happening.
Lots happening.
What's happening with you? Are you heading to Blue Food as well?
Well, yes. You wouldn't believe my first Blue Food was last year.
Really?
My first Blue Food was last year.
Yeah.
And I had a blast. It was really nice. It was nice. You know, I work in the tourism industry outside of writing.
Right.
And to see what, happens outside of the office, the
Yes.
actual groundwork. It was really nice. And to see other people enjoying it as well.
Yes.
I would say that is something that they need to keep going, that Blue Food Festival.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Well, I saw the preparations. I see Nadia Batson come in.
They have some amazing artists coming.
Is Sugar Aloes, I think I
Sugar
saw.
Aloes, yes, he's coming as well.
Girl,
Yes.
Real Bacchanal going on this weekend.
And also I look forward
Sunday.
to the upcoming artists that they also have performing. It's really nice to hear they using these artists, because everybody trying to get in the industry and being seen on that stage, it would be the perfect opportunity.
Very true. And not only that, this Blue Food is giving me a taste of Tobago jazz.
I think it's the blue.
No, not just that, how they have it set up, this big field, how they used to do and let you come down to Speyside with your cooler.
Your pack and your go.
So wait, you could put your cooler this time, you think?
Yes, I believe you could go with your cooler. Once you could fit on the bus. Because you can't drive down there, you have to take a shuttle. So once you could fit on the bus. Because it's really a alignment moment, because you're driving so far and some persons tell me it's like if they're going to Maracas Beach and you plan the day and that's the day event, you go to the beach and then you go there and you relax on the lime and then you go to the festivities after. So it really is a nice, it's all day.
Yeah, so you could come and go as you please.
So you could go in the hot sun when everything will be fresh. Or you could go in the evening.
The children quick
and carry the children.
Wear them out and carry them home tired.
Yes, because there'll be bouncy castle, there'll be all kind of activities to have them, interested. So it wouldn't just be for adults, So
listen, so Sunday is Blue Food and then the next weekend is Carnival.
Next weekend is Carnival.
Listen, people, you're not getting a chance to catch yourself.
Yes.
If you're not in Tobago yet, get here. Okay? If you had to take a canoe, a pirogue, right? I don't know if it have any flights left.
Well, that's the thing. Hopefully they put on some more.
Yeah, get to Toko and take a pirogue and come over. Because that's the closest point, right?
Everybody, yeah?
Yeah. And stay with a friend or something. Listen, all Trinis have Tobago relatives.
Yeah.
And all Tobagonians have Trini relatives.
That is true.
So you have plenty people to stay by.
Make it a reunion.
You don't want to have... Oh, I like that.
Yes, make it a reunion.
I like that. Listen, fun times ahead. So we're so happy to have you here with us. As Tobago is a buzz with activity and loveliness happening. Good food this weekend. Gail, I saw some pictures of that food and my mouth started to water. Because I love our cuckoo and kalalua.
Listen, the dashing wine and the ice cream.
But don't even talk. That dashing wine, my name on it already.
Yeah.
Okay, whether I reach the Blue Food or not, my name on it already. Because Christmas coming up, okay?
Trust me. It's spectacular.
As we say wine, we have some cassava wine from Joefield today. Cheers to you.
Thank you very much.
Miss Shinniese, and thank you for being here. Cheers to you, viewers, wherever you may be watching across the Caribbean, whether you're watching on Amplia 102 or on YouTube or on Tobago Updates Facebook. Listen, get your drink, get your snack. You know how we do it here in Book Club Corner. We don't just read, we sip, we sit and chat, right? We have a good time. So get your snacks, get your drinks. We're going on a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be getting into these books that Miss Shinniese Sylvan has written. So see you in a few minutes. We want to thank our kind supporters of the show, Joefield Wine, my good friend Neve. Listen, we get some great local products here on Book Club Corner, apart from Reading Caribbean. You see the wine, and the reason why I didn't get into the smell, swirl, and all of that, listen, we've been drinking Joefield Wine for a while. I have had this cassava wine, and it is established and stamped. It is perfection. Okay, so if you like a wine on the sweeter side, but a nice high percentage, right? You don't want your money to go to waste, but you are buying alcohol. Okay, it is alcoholic. You will love this. Perhaps order some for Christmas. Christmas is coming up sooner than we think. It's just about 9 Wednesdays again, eh? So keep in mind, all those authors out there, get your books sorted out, get your prints sorted out, get your wines, get your book products, whether it's bookmarks or whatever it might be, get them ready. But thank you, Mr. Joefield, and thank you, Neve, for our amazing centerpiece. Shinniese, we want to get into these books. And I know you're a first-time author with the book Mommy Dear. Yeah, this was the one that took you into authorship. Tell us, one, what is the book about? And two, what was your experience as a first-time author?
So Mommy Dear, it's a book about a young girl that was essentially sold into slavery by her dad, right? She was sold into slavery. Now she's an English person, and she was sold into slavery to a French person on a French ship. 12 years on the ship, she never set foot on the ground. And then finally, when she was older, she had the opportunity to explore the town. Now, explore the town meaning not by her, not with permission, but rather she ran away in order to get this experience. And getting this experience, she met some interesting people, and these interesting people made her, after she got back on the ship, want to make land her permanent mark. So that's basically what the book is about. It's about her story from being sold to being, you know, still in captivity, to getting the courage to finally leave the ship and then taking on new adventures. So that is what it's about.
What betrayal to be, you know, to go through something orchestrated by your own father. What an idea for a book. I mean, you read any book and you're done vexed. From the time you read a book. Listen, if you ever catch him, you know, sometimes you have relatives and, you know, they're not living up to the relative status, right?
And I think that was the whole idea about the book, in order that, you know, persons get attached to the character. And then when they get attached to the character and they see what they go through and they see what they do to overcome this. Now, it might be a small thing of just stepping from a ship onto a dock, onto the land for you. But when you really read her story and they build up, because remember, she was in captivity. This person mentally captivated her as well as physically captivated her, so that she was so scared to come off the ship. It's like they put a terror in her. And then now she has the courage to finally step off of this ship. Is she going to meet her father again? Where is her mom, her dad, and her brother? Where is everybody else that's supposed to have her side when she was put on the ship? Are they looking for her? You know, so much question going through her mind. It is really a journey for her. So that's what the book is about, Mommy Dear.
Listen, I feel like everybody, you all need to get this book, Mommy Dear. The name of this book, how did you come up with the name?
Well, I chose the name because the character herself, she is a writer. Right? Now, off of me, who is also a writer. And she used the opportunity on the ship to write letters to her mom. Because, you know, her father sold her into slavery and now she's wondering, where is my mom? Is my mom looking for me? Is my brother looking for me? And so these letters are letters that she wrote to them while she's on the ship. So you will see, if you buy the book, You'll see every chapter starts with a letter to her mom, Mommy Dear, and it goes on to give a little poetic short of what the chapter might be about.
Pulling on my little heartstrings and I'm feeling like...
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Yes, well, you achieved it.
Yes, that's what I want. God.
How did it feel to finally publish your work and to become... Listen, you know, I'm a first-time author, but I am an author. How did that feel?
To be honest, Joelle, I felt relief. And I felt really proud of myself, to be very honest, because I have a few friends in school that know me. At lunchtime, we used to sit down and I used to read books that I wrote to them. Now, this is not the only book I have.
So wait, you've been having book club since you were in high school, right?
I've been having book club since I've been in high school. So we had a few friends that, you know, we used to sit around the table sometimes at lunchtime and I would be reading these books to them until the bell ring, as it were. And they would be so intrigued and they'd be like, oh my gosh, Shinniese, your book is so good. And I just used to write. I just wrote, saved, and I never saw myself as being an active author. I just saw myself being as somebody that just writes because that's what I like. You. Yes, I have the creativity and the mindset, and so I just wrote. And then COVID came, and when COVID came, it was like, okay, I've tried every recipe you could think about. I've tried.
Yes.
You can't go outside and exercise and take a run.
Girl.
Listen to me. I tried everything. The only thing I didn't get into is knitting and crocheting. I tried my hand at sewing. I tried everything. And it was just what to do. And I used the opportunity to start back writing.
Yeah.
And when I start back writing and I finished Mommy Dear, I was like, okay, somebody needs to read this. You know, and I took the opportunity and I said, okay, how do I get to be a published author?
Yeah.
Now, I knew about publishing agencies, I knew about all those things, but I didn't want to get into that serious yet, as it were, because, you know, you still have your self-doubt that what if my book is not good and then they're going to say, we're not going to publish it, and you don't want to hear no. And I researched Amazon, self-publishing.
Yeah,
and
KDP.
The KDP, and that was like an eye-opener for me, that the fact that I could publish my own book for myself and then get my own marketing strategies to get people out there to read my book and stuff. And so I decided to publish my own book for myself. I finished it, I did my editing, I uploaded, created my own cover with the help of some friends. And here comes Mommy Dear.
I love it.
Born.
That is such a great story. How did you get into the analysis, Internalysis first-time author program? It's an appreciation program for authors. How did you find out about it?
Well, I am part of the Tobago's Writers Guild.
Yes, I know.
And it was something that they encourage first authors to do.
Yes.
And at the point in time, it was perfect timing because I just finished writing Mommy Dear.
Yes.
And so I used the opportunity to get into the Internalysis first-time authors program, and Joelle helped me. Joelle helped me as well and encouraged me. And, you know, outside of my doubts, I took the opportunity and I uploaded my stuff to them and I wrote my little synopsis and biography of myself.
Yes.
And then to get the email to say that, well, you have been accepted into our first authors program. And I was so happy, and having my book on display in Trinidad, and, you know, persons messaging me, I just saw your book in Alice Library, congratulations. And, you know, it was really an emotional time for me. At the point in time, I wasn't even in the country. That's the hard part about it. I wasn't even in the country at the point in time. So, you know, I couldn't have celebrated as I wanted to. But those that had my back, they went down and they got pictures of the book in the library for me on the display case. And Nalis also, you know, they emailed me and thanked me for being an author. And it was just perfect. Everything just was perfect timing.
Yeah. I just have to say, you know, kudos to Nalis for the work they do in terms of supporting authors. It's not easy to be an author, you know. It's a lot of work. And then, you know, here comes Nalis, our National Library Information System, and they make you feel so, you know, like so special. I think it's fantastic, and I've done my research. There isn't another program like this in the country, in the world. this first time authors appreciation program. Nalis, you're doing a good job. You did a great job by starting this program so many years ago. And the only thing that could top what you've done is to bring it into Tobago. So I think about 2 years ago, Nalis, you all had the display and a program here to appreciate the authors right in Tobago. They didn't have to go to Trinidad. And I think it would be a nice thing for you all to do it again. I've been advocating for it. The authors who are in Tobago would love to be able to see their books both in Trinidad and here. Have their people be able to see it on display in Tobago. So fingers crossed, Nalis, if you're listening, Tobago authors want you to come do a display and same sort of program right here in Tobago. Listen, it was well attended the last time when they did it, which was the first time, and it will be well attended again. Shinniese, the books that you have subsequent to Mommy Dearest, how did those books come up for you?
Well, the books are basically spring-off stories from persons in the Mommy Dear book. So when you read Mommy Dear, you're going to learn about a character called Elspeth and also Gabriel, who is the character's brother.
Right. This is the cover. I love the cover.
Yes.
Very rich.
So Dear Elspeth, basically, as I say, is a story about Elspeth, whose father, a good one this time.
Okay, very good.
Unfortunately, she has to marry into another family because there's a war imminent. And they need to interlock kingdoms, as it were. And to do that, she needs to marry this guy.
Create an alliance.
Yes, they need to create an alliance. And this alliance is with a guy that she never liked. She never liked. And it's really nice seeing how they are able to eventually become friends and eventually get into the more romantic side of the story.
Yes.
So this one is not as serious.
A slow burn.
Yes. It's like friend to foe, or foe to friend, as it were.
Yes.
And it's really my favorite type of book to write, enemies to lovers. Yeah, I like to write those kind of books,
Those out there, if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm talking about. Is this a little Mills and Boonsey?
No.
Do we have it? Listen, you all know what I'm talking about. Those who like to read, listen, when we were younger, you get a Mills and Boons and you're there behind the cover.
Listen to me. I can't enough trouble
nobody
for that. Exam time and all you want to do is read books. I was so happy for English CXC because my mom said, you know what? Okay, it's English CXC. I would allow you to read some books because you might need a little words or stuff. So listen, I stay up all night and read books,
Girl.
I love reading books as well.
You wake up and when you look out, it's bright outside and you ain't even sleep awake.
You ain't even sleep.
Because you're there.
It was so good.
What's next?
Yeah,
Listen, reading is the best fun.
Yeah.
The best fun.
Yes.
I want you to tell me one thing about being an author that you didn't think you would experience, whether it's a high or a low. What surprised you when you became an author?
Well, what surprised me, I would say, is the amount of writer's block I got. I mean, now you expect it, to be honest, because you hear scriptwriters talk about writer's block. Even sometimes directors for movie shows, they talk about, having blocks as a creative person. But the amount of writer's block, it is really ridiculous. And
so what did you do?
What I do, sometimes I just take a step back. Take a step
break.
Back. Even if it means deleting a chapter and starting from the beginning. Just take a step back. Take a breathe.
That
restructure.
Chapter,
yeah, it's hard because sometimes you want to say something specific in this chapter.
Yeah.
And now you have to backspace, as it were. And this backspace, it hurts in you. It hurts in you because it's you know how much work you put into that chapter. But I think because you really need to start over, then you delete that chapter and then you start all over again. Yeah. And that's how I overcome my writer's block. Because now, at the end of that chapter, is like, what else do I say? But now because I'm starting over and I'm starting from the previous chapter, I can build on that previous chapter and start all over again.
So you don't have that baggage.
So I don't have that baggage. Yes. And then in between that writing to over chapter, you decide that, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to add this in order to connect back to this. And, you know, I think I'm going to take out this from the beginning, put it in the end, and that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And then another thing that helped me is making an outline. Oh. And I would tell every single writer, whether it is you're writing CXC, exam, English papers, agree and disagree, for, against, have an outline. Because the outline helps you so much with your introduction. Yeah. Introduce your characters.
Yes.
And then you go down to the body. What is my main point that I want to bring out in this chapter? What is, you know, you keep going and going and going. Ask yourself every chapter, what do I need to add to this? And that's how you build.
That outline that you talked about, people who write will understand. Because where I was into the sciences, so we would use that same method to prepare for exams. Because you'd have essays to write, right? They'd ask you one thing about all the cells and the mitochondria and whatever, and you have to write this whole thing paragraph about how the mitochondria turns it into energy and whatever. And you have to have in your mind, before you get there, all your ideas laid out and an outline of how you're going to. So literally, we would be learning how to, you know, okay, if they come with this is what we're going to say. This is my acronym, so don't forget.
Yep.
And that's what you do.
Because you never know what they're going to bring, but at least you know that there's supposed to be a structure, right?
Exactly. And it's the same thing with writing fiction, non-fiction. You have to have that outline to say, okay, I'm going to start, this is how the story is going to start, and see how it flows, but you must have some framework.
Yeah, and I did, when I was doing some research on what it takes to really be an author and getting good books, is there's something called a 3-act structure. They also use it in making movies. So you start the climb, and then you're going to lead to the climax, and then the after story to tie everything together. And so that's how I write my books. I do the introduction, building up, get a climax, and then after you go up again to the big climax that, you know, is what the book is really about. And then you go back down the line, you come down now. And that's how I write my books. I use a 3-act structure. And by doing that, you know, okay, what do I want to pick this chapter? What do I want to pick this book on a whole? Because you might just be writing, and then your book has no substance to lead to something that the reader could say, wow,
boring.
You know? Yeah, it's just a book that goes straight to the end.
Thank you.
They live happily ever after.
Yeah, boring.
So you want to really get that interesting aspect
in case you missed what you said, it's a 3-arc structure, you said, right?
Yeah.
So 3 acts, you said.
Yes.
Go and look it up. Shinniese is giving you some good advice, authors. 3-act structure, and get your outline together, okay? And when you have writer's block, take a break, such as we are going to have right now with some wine. So we're going to see you in a few minutes. Listen, get your drink, get your snack, go stretch your legs, take a bathroom break quickly, and get right back to Book Club Corner. We have some great stuff coming up here. We have Shinniese Sylvan, a published author, talking about her book. Well, first of all, it's what? To Gabrielle with Love, and then Mummy Dear. Mummy Dear is pulling on my heartstrings, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about To Gabrielle with Love. Cheers to you. See you in a few minutes. Welcome back to Book Club Corner, where every Wednesday we chat with an author, a publishing industry stakeholder, right here in Tobago Update Studio in the beautiful city of Scarborough, Tobago. And today we are chatting with Shinniese Sylvan, and she is the author of Mummy Dearest and To Gabrielle with Love. Shinniese, this book, your book seemed to be such, such a page turner, right? It sounds, and when I was getting into the book, you just want to read the whole book. You want to binge read the whole book. You don't want to be like, I'll take a break and get back to it.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration, or what is your inspiration for the fiction that you're writing, as well as being an author? What inspires you?
Well, Joel, when a lot of persons ask me that, they ask me, is the book about you secretly? Is your father trying to sell you? You know,
How dare they?
but really and truly, I think that most of my inspiration just comes from, I mean, it might sound cliche, but really everyday life.
Yeah.
You know, you see a situation might happen even at work. It might happen on the road. And, you know, I think to myself, what if this is to happen instead of this? If I had the power to do this, this is what I would have done. You know, and then I basically just build off of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, you might say to yourself, well, okay, if I walk down the road there and then let's say a lion to come, what would I do? I would either jump on the lion back.
You have a vivid imagination, girl.
That's what everybody tells me. And you know, and
I hope that never happens in Scarborough.
I hope it does.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Yeah, so my inspiration came from that. And also I attended the Tobago's film festival. They had a workshop, a writing workshop.
Yes.
And one of the guys there, he was saying, you know, take inspiration from life. And I think that's when I started doing that.
Yeah.
And they had a section where they asked persons, okay, come up with an idea for a book or a movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anything you have written before. I don't want to hear anything that has happened before.
Yeah.
Come up with an original story right here, right now. And I was like, what? Okay, how do I even start?
Yeah.
And so I came up with the idea of having Tobago being attacked by giant spiders. But the twist on it was that these spiders instead were being hunted by us because you know we love to throw down a pot. And so instead, we became we were the predator and they were the prey.
So the new Manico.
And so when they were reading back the story, everybody was like, how you came up with that? That is so crazy. And I was like, you know, just thinking about other generic movies that have the animal attacking persons. How about we flip the script in Trinidad and Tobago? We eat anything that has 4, 5, 6 legs. Once it has some good coconut.
Or none at all.
Or none at all. And I came up with the idea. I was like, you know what? Let me flip the script. Let's now have it instead of arachnophobia. They are afraid of humans, you know. And so I flipped the script, and I think that's just how I come up with my ideas. I just say, you know what? What if this happens
up at the fort jumping off, trying to get away from us, right?
Trying to get away from us. They're running, hiding. Because, you know, the only problem that we had, we didn't have a pot big enough to fit the legs. But really,
Shinniese, this is somebody's nightmare. I know for sure somebody is in you know, watching and be like, oh my God, I would kill myself. I would run away. I hide in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that the other countries that are running from them will be grateful to hire us to help them out there. Because, you know, New York City always gets attacked in these movies. So I'm sure the US would be happy to hire us to help them get rid of these animals. But, you know, on a more serious note, so that's how I come up with my ideas. Basically, I just say, okay, what if we flip the script? What if this happens instead of this? And that's how I just ride the wave of creativity.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is so amazing. People, listen, don't steal Shinnie's idea. She just give you one.
I mean,
about the spiders.
I would love to see the movie, yeah? I would love to see that.
Contact her, right? We'll leave her email address. Contact her and let her write the script for you because she has the idea down packed. And remember, eat the spiders. Don't let them eat you. Don't let them eat you.
You let it eat or be eaten.
We eat the spiders. Somebody was saying, you know, and I guess I know it was a serious thing that happened, but somebody was saying after the shark attack, the unfortunate shark attack that happened in Tobago, somebody say, well, you're not eating enough shark in Tobago. That's what happened to you.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, if you were eating more shark,
we wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, don't just run them down and catch them. You gotta eat them. You gotta show them who is boss.
Yeah.
Say what?
Then they'll be afraid to come here because they will say, you know, there's a booth dedicated to us called Bacon Shark Hut.
Listen,
you ain't going down there.
No.
Yeah.
Stay away from once you hit Trinbago waters, you know you're in trouble.
In trouble. For real. That is a good book.
So this book, To Gabriel with Love. Is it Gabriel or Gabriel?
Well, it's Gabriel. But
okay. So To Gabriel with Love. what is happening in that book? And what's with the title in terms of To Gabriel with Love? What's happening there?
Well, once again, the letters, once again, as you see the name, they are spelled. This is letters from the first character to Espelt, who also became her friend in the book. And to Gabriel with Love, it's letters that she wrote to him.
I'm sensing a theme.
Yes.
I'm sensing a pattern.
Yes.
You like letters?
So I like letters. I like writing letters. I do. And handwritten, it's from the heart. It's, tells the person that, hey, I thought about you and I wrote this for you specifically. So yes, I do write letters as well.
That.
So to Gabriel with Love, these are letters she wrote to him. Now Gabriel is a little more serious because Gabriel, after finding out what her father did, he decided to take it upon himself to go and avenge what happened to his mom and his sister. And so he has taken on this part.
The story is continuing. So
it's continuing.
This is Aramyst's brother.
Yes, but this is after he found her reunited.
Right.
And I don't want to give away too much of the first book, but, she was kind of begging him and saying, you know what, forget about it, let bygones be bygones, forgive and forget. Father already did what he did, so let's move on from there. But he was adamant that he needs to get back at this father. And so
he needs to teach him a lesson.
Exactly. And so now in this book, it is going to show you the story of Gabriel, of how he decided that whether revenge was the right thing or the wrong thing, and now he's going to learn that, maybe revenge really and truly is not the right thing. And you're going to see how he turns from being this harsh character into being a much softer character and learning to forgive.
Yeah.
So
does he fall in love? Just wink once.
Maybe he does.
We won't tell him, but just wink once and tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Listen, people, get these books. To Gabriel with Love, Dear Elspeth, and Mommy Dear. This sounds like a tearjerker. Should we be reading these with a napkin, with a kerchief, a hanky?
You just might, especially Gabriel's story. I mean, the standard of society is that men are not supposed to cry. That's what they say. Yes, a man don't cry.
Yeah.
But, being in the Gabriel story and in his footsteps, and he's now having to deal with the fact that this father has done him so wrong and went to extreme lengths to get rid of his mom and his sister. And now he has to, essentially learn to forgive. Yeah. And then he's paired with another character that I wouldn't give away.
Yes,
that, teaches
no spoilers.
him. Yes, that also, teaches him a lesson. And to see him become this harsh man and get a little softer and also learn that, just cry it out. As a man, just cry it out.
Yeah, release, like the pressure cooker,
Just release
it. Just release it. It might be a slow release, but get it out.
Get it out and get it over with. Because to have somebody control your life for so long and for you to build your entire life around one person in order to get this revenge, is it really going to make sense in the end?
Because you're putting your life on hold.
On hold, basically.
All your dreams. The revenge may be a dream, but, whatever may now propel you through life, you're now having to put that on hold to make sure they understand you.
And then when that comes and ends, then what? Where does that leave you? Basically empty because you have no home. You never built a home because you were constantly on the go looking for this man.
Yes.
And then now, when everything is over and done with and you sit down and it's like, what next?
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Did it actually fill a hole?
So that exactly. So that's basically what his story is about. Learning that, it may not be what you need. It might seem like what you want, but it's not what you need. So.
Shinniese, I have to ask, what's next for you?
Well, I am working on something right now. It's called A Widow's Wish, which is also a spin-off. Now,
get your hanky. You'll need a fresh hanky for this book.
No, this one is a little more comical. No, it really surprised me that I even was able to build a story about this, but it's about two characters that are in the Espelt's book, and these two characters met just perchance while with the main character. And so I decided to make a spin-off with them. And the spin-off is about this, I don't want to say she's greedy, but is a young lady, well, not a young lady, but a widow that her husband left her in debt. And so she's looking for a gentleman in order to marry that will pay off her debt.
What period of time we looking at here?
This is the 1800s.
Had to be because...
Yeah. Because now...
we're going to look for work.
No, hello.
To pay our bills.
Exactly.
Hello.
Most of my books are 1800s.
Yes, I can tell.
I like that time period because to me, I think back then love was much purer. I don't know if that's the right word to use. But it was much, without the social media and everything else, I think it was more intense, more pure.
I get it.
The looks, the glances, every single thing as persons who are fans of Bridgerton books. I've read the Bridgerton books and, just reading about, he looked across the room and he saw me and it's like, ooh, you understand? But now it's like, oh, he liked my post. Ooh. I don't think love is as it was back then.
He liked my post and he been liking all my pictures.
And he comment on my post and no.
But the commentary has been for that time, 1800s, 1700s. Could it be real? Is it real love? When you have to find somebody because you cannot, self-actualize. I can't live out my dreams. I can't open a bank account. I can't go out there and be me. I can't. So I now have to hitch my wagon to this dude who could, allow me to have a home and own things and all of that. So is it really love? A lot of persons are asking, people think this time where you have the choice and you still choose to love.
Yeah.
That is, true. But I get what you're saying. I mean, come on, these furtive glances, you can't go out with, you can't be out there in public with men and you have to,
can't talk to one person too long because, I mean, even now that standard still stands. If you talk to a guy too long, it's like, he likes you. Go out and date together. With one person, they're together, So
that's your husband.
It's you
get
so it's
married
basically the same thing, eh? It's basically the same thing. But I don't know. I think why I say back then the love was a little bit purer is because, yes, women really back then didn't have much of a choice or much of a say in terms of marriage and stuff. But I think when they do find the right person, it was more pronounced and was more intense.
That's if you're allowed.
It's like
suppose they arrange your marriage, Shinniese. Suppose you go home this evening and see they tell you they have a husband.
I would be so happy.
Shinniese,
at this point,
you're hearing it, eh? You're hearing it right here on Book Club Corner. Listen, we get all different kinds of conversations happening. Listen, Shinniese is looking for love. Shinniese is looking for love.
No, not looking, but
parents out there. If you have a
nice son, it would have been
son,
easier, eh?
Yeah, if you have a nice son and he's single, please don't bring any married men or any tied up people for her, okay? You have a single son out there.
I have old-time parents, so he's definitely gonna have to chop some wood and do all those kind of traditional stuff.
I like that roast of breadfruit. You know the roast of breadfruit?
Do you know how to roast a breadfruit? If you can't, then
listen. Do you know how to brown sugar from scratch? You're not a browning.
We don't want no caramel chicken. Please, thank you.
Look where we reached, Shinniese. Look where we reached.
Okay.
I love it. Listen, I love it. Please, don't stop on my account. We all did it right here. Shinniese is looking for love.
Yes,
don't send her no crazies, okay? She has an application for you, right? Listen, we're going on a quick break, but when we come back, Shinniese is going to be reading for us from her book, Mummy Dear. So don't go too far. We're going on a quick break. All those carnival babies, I know you're out there getting yourself together. All those persons getting ready for Blue Food. You're getting your little outfit ready. You're probably fasting. So when you reach your Blue Food, you have space for all of that food, right? So just tell you right now, get your little snack and come right back to Book Club Corner. We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to Book Club Corner. I am Jewel Green, your host, and we are having such a fun time today with Shinniese Sylvan, the author of Mummy Dear. Listen, Shinniese, you had me real cracking up before the break, you know. Listen, during the break, I was telling Shanice when she go home, I'm sure it will have at least 2 suitors waiting on her. Could they don't go on by the barber? People from your village was watching you, and they hear your announcement on TV that you'll be glad when you go home to meet an arranged husband. So I know they went by the barber, and I know they saying she finishing 4 o'clock. We're going to be by her house at 5:30. Okay?
Yeah, straight lines.
So we're heading into our read aloud session. Shanice is going to be reading to us from her book, Mummy Dear. Get comfy. Get your snacks close by. Get your drink close by. Whether you're drinking some government juice, right, with a little ice, whether you're having some tea, coffee, or wine, get comfy. And we're getting into this book, Mummy Dear. You ready, Shanice?
Of course.
Take it away.
Dear life, you are cruel, you're evil, and you're wicked. But you're wonderful, you're exhilarating, and you're hopeful. You teach us to balance, and without you, there will be no lessons, no love, and no existence. Muriel's hand gripped a clear water jug to her chest tightly as she looked out at her kitchen window. The moon shone radiantly, illuminating the streets, but she was oblivious to its beauty. Her eyes scanned the dark areas of the street, looking for any strange movement or any sign that something was about to happen. Please protect us, Lord, she silently prayed, as her hands tightened on the jug. Its roughness caused her palms to sting, but she barely noticed as she kept her eyes focused on the streets ahead. She heard a shrub rustle in the distance, and her heart raced. Her eyes quickly went to the area, scanning for the source of the noise. She sighed with relief when a black cat jumped out of the bushes and sat licking its paw. But a black cat meant bad luck, and with all the bad luck that had crossed her family, it was hard to keep sane. Mother? A voice sounded behind her, jolting her out of her trance. Yes, she answered, quickly turning to see Gabriel, her 15-year-old son, standing in the doorway. Aren't you coming to eat with us? He asked, looking at her with a concerned face. Of course. I was just filling up the water jug, she said, placing a quick smile on her face as she walked towards him. But when she looked into his eyes, the smile slowly fell. It hurt her to see his once bright childish eyes, so full of innocence, replaced with the steel-cold eyes of a war veteran. Circumstances changed people, and with all that had happened to her family, she knew that her son must have mentally aged drastically. Oh, how she wished she could turn back the hands of time. But Muriel knew, given the choice, she wouldn't change anything, because she wouldn't have her children without him. While things were bad for them currently, she wasn't going to give up her children. She could only wish that they hadn't seen, heard, or experienced what they did, especially Gabriel, who suffered firsthand. Are you okay? He asked, but instead of answering, her eyes were glued to the scar that branded his face. Her eyes traced the scar that ran from the middle of his forehead to the bridge of his nose. It slanted under his right eye and ended on his cheek. It was his stamp of bravery. If not for him, Muriel knew she would have been dead the night her husband attacked her. Feeling self-conscious of his mother's stare, he turned the scarred side of his face away from her, and Muriel looked away, sensing his discomfort. She hated knowing that she could have prevented his father from inflicting such a lasting mark if she had the courage to leave him a few years earlier. She walked over to her son and turned his head towards her, touching his scar lovingly. I'm so sorry, she whispered sadly as she stroked his scar. He cleared his throat of his emotions and smiled up at her, trying to lighten the mood. It's all right, Ma. We're safe for now. He hugged her tightly, hoping he was right. But Muriel knew they won't be for long. Are you okay now? You seemed spooked earlier, he prodded again, this time trying to look through the kitchen window where she was standing previously. Muriel saw where his eyes shifted, and she smiled at how protective he was still of her. After the altercation with his father, she thought that he would have been timid towards life, but the experience seemed to have made him stronger. Well, if you must know, I was just admiring a beautiful tabby cat, and I was thinking about getting one for the alley rodents that sneak into here at night, she said, trying to distract him from her mood. Please don't get a cat, Ma. I hate cats, he grimaced. Muriel sighed happily that she was able to successfully distract him from his interrogation. She ruffled his light brown hair, chuckling as he dramatically shivered about the thought of a cat.
I love it. Listen, if you didn't look up, I would have been just sitting on here letting you read and read. It'd be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and you'd still be reading. What a story! I love it.
So you get a peek of what's happening in Gabriel's life here. The
pieces feel so tactile. You feel like you're there with them in that kitchen, looking through that window. She lying about a cat. He wondering what's going on with the mother. She reminiscing
She's frantic,
about
thinking about the husband. Yeah.
Listen, where can we get your books, Shinniese?
Yes. So for now, if you want a hard copy, you have to order it directly through me. You can message me on Instagram. Or if you, I can get my number onto you.
Yes, we'll share your
Instagram.
Number.
Yes, you'll share my number, my email, my Instagram. I also have a Facebook page. Feel free to message me on my private Facebook page or on my author Facebook page, and I will be able to get a copy onto you, a hard copy, that is.
Right.
Yes.
But we can get like the digital copy from Amazon. But if you want to
get the digital copy on Amazon, you can directly go on Amazon, just type in my name, the name of the book, and it's right there and you can order it. But I know a lot of persons have some issues when it comes to the credit card, so that's why I also have the option of me ordering it for you.
Very good.
Yeah, you'll be able to get it in a timely manner. Yeah.
I know we talk a lot about going cashless, but, a lot of persons are now still trying to catch up, and having a credit card is not always easy to get. So I really appreciate that you have that facility so an author can pay you directly. And get your book. What if they're not in Trinidad and Tobago?
If they're not in Trinidad and Tobago and they want to have the hard copy, I can also do that. I would just have to get I would have to get their address, direct
so you
address,
could send it
so
to
I
them.
could send it to there.
Perfect.
Yep. So they should be in our gear there.
Listen,
Shinniese
Sylvan here with us talking about her book, Mommy Dear, and such a tearjerker. Listen. I still can't get over the stories. Such good stories. And they all spin-offs of each other. So the first one is Mommy Dear. And from there we're looking at the family arcs.
Yeah.
I tell you. Listen, after all of that excitement and the reading, we're heading into the green room, where we're looking at insights for authors and the publishers. And we want to thank our kind sponsors. And what is a literary publicist, and do I need one? Literary publicists are specialists who promote an author and their work to generate public interest in the book, making it discoverable to customers. Yes, and they are responsible for arranging book tours, book launches, and persuading media gatekeepers to feature the author. These are crucial elements in the success of any book that few authors can replicate on their own. And for those who can replicate it on their own, sometimes they just need the help. And we want to thank our kind sponsors for the Green Room. And that is Mansa Enterprises, Mansa Bookstore. And Mansa Bookstore is right there in Calder Hall, and their number is 1-868-238-4017, and they open from Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you spend $500 or more at Mansa, they're going to be giving you a $150 voucher or a cashback of $150 to spend in the store, of course. So you get more bang for your buck. And we also want to thank our next sponsor, who is Caribbean Book Marketing Hub. And they have an author directory coming up. If you're an author and you would like to be listed in the author directory, you can get on to them on their Facebook, Instagram, or even Twitter. That is Caribbean Book Marketing. And fill out that form. There's a QR code here. You can fill out that form and you will be included in their upcoming author directory. Shinniese, I want to ask you, what advice do you have? Because we share a lot of information here on Book Club Corner for authors. But you being an author yourself, what advice would you give a new author? What would you tell them if they came to you and said, Miss Shinniese, I want to be an author?
My first piece of advice would be just to start.
Yeah.
Just start writing. Because I think the first writer's block is before you start. And once you overcome that, you can overcome any other writer's block to follow.
Yes.
And when you look at your work and you see from a blank page, whether it is you're writing hard copy or you're writing on a computer, and you see that blank page go to a full page, or you see that 0 bytes Word document turn to 2 megabytes of information loaded from your head onto a page, onto a soft copy. It's so exhilarating. So my advice would be just to start. And some persons say, okay, start with what? Because I start and I don't know. My structure is wrong. As I said earlier, outline is very important. What do you want to accomplish with this book? You have to ask yourself so much questions, and you have to be very honest as well. Are you just writing because I can write, I'm very good with words? Or you're writing to tell the audience or the reader something? Are you writing because, I want to make money? Or are you writing because it's generally a passion for you? You have to be very honest with yourself, because if you're writing to make money and you don't, then that is going to be your biggest writer's block. You're not gonna continue. Because in your mind, you're going to think, well, I'm not making any money. Why do I need to continue doing this? So you have to really and truly be honest with yourself when it comes to being an author. What is your purpose? Because you're not going to be a millionaire. You may not become a millionaire off of writing. Look how long it took for a Bridgerton series to become a Netflix series.
All right, and not everybody is a Stephen King or a J.K. Rollins.
Or Danielle Steele.
Yeah. We have local authors who have made it. Not everybody's an Obasi or a Merle Hodge, So we understand, there are different levels of authorship, success for authors. But you won't know how far you'll get if you don't try and start. Yeah, I like that. That's some good advice.
Yeah, so you really and truly have to be honest with yourselves about what is your purpose for writing this particular book, this particular piece. Yeah. Because I have some books coming up. Hopefully, as I say, my goal is to reach between 15 and 10 books.
Yeah.
Right, so I have 4 going right now, so I have a few more to go.
Yes.
I mean, I have the ideas.
You have such a good start.
Yeah, I have the ideas. I have everything done pack. I already know how I wanted to start and end with the other 11 books. And so you really and truly have to have your goal down pack, as it were. And so some of the books that I have upcoming is going to be books that, for young persons coming in. It's going to be more modern day. It wouldn't be as 1800s old time that, less love, obviously, and more inspirational.
Some contemporary
Yes, so
stuff.
the goal for those books is to reach the younger persons. Right. So that is what I'm really and truly trying to get into. So
I love that. Listen, I'm so expectant of all the success that is going to come to you and very soon, because let me tell you, the quality of the stories that you've written so far are they're very, very high standards you have. I don't know how you're going to top Elspeth. I don't know how you're going to top Paul Gabriel. Right? Well, listen, we want to thank our amazing author, Shinniese Sylvan, for being here with us. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Listen, the time flies here on Book Club Corner. It is time for us to close. And as we head to the wrap up, we want to thank you, the viewer, for being here with us, sticking with us at Book Club Corner, and for having a quick snack and drink and listening to the readings and participating in the literary world of the Caribbean. We want to thank you, whether you're viewing from YouTube, Facebook, wherever it may be, from the comfort of your home. And we are looking forward to having another author next week. And this is going to be an especially good episode because we're going to be getting into some folklore, right? This is Caribbean Folklore Month, and we have a sci-fi author, R.S.A. Garcia, coming. That's my good friend Rhonda. She's going to be coming to us next week, Wednesday, talking about her book and all her author awards. And if you missed this episode, please go to our Book Club Corner YouTube channel where you'll be able to catch up on today's episode as well as all the other episodes where we chat with authors. So whether you're looking to get into an author who's writing fiction or whether you're looking to get into nonfiction, prose, poetry, we have spoken to authors of all kinds. Go to our YouTube channel. It's Book Club Corner TT on YouTube and click that subscribe button where you'll get all the notifications for all our upcoming episodes, and you can binge watch all our old episodes. So thank you again for having us in your living rooms, on your computers, on your phones, wherever you are watching, and we look forward to seeing you again next week Wednesday right here on Book Club Corner. Cheers to you and cheers to you, Shinniese.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next week.